As you know, many institutes, especially the IIMs, but even the non-IIMs, have an essay writing session in addition to the personal interview. Quite a few institutes have done away with the group discussion, and there are some which continue with all three: group discussions, WAT or essay writing, and PI. Today we're going to do the first of this, which is the essay, that is the written or writing ability test, right? And before we start, let me just tell you, if you missed our February offers, we still have some offers left for March. So we have a scratch and save up to 50% on the Gradeup Super. If you still haven't joined any of our crack prep courses, this would be a good time to join it and to avail the up to 50% off offer on the scratch and save. We have a CAT 2021 full course on, so those of you who are appearing CAT 2021, there's a lot of time. Well, there is a lot that is there at stake, so do join our preparations. Mrigank, AWT of IIM Ahmedabad, I shall talk about it. Since you're there and you're asking for it, I shall definitely talk about it. All right. So if you like the session, please press the like, leave a comment, share the video with your friends, and do subscribe to the Gradeup YouTube channel. Download the Gradeup app. All right. So today what are we looking at? We are looking at the easy way to write an excellent essay. Now, most institutes, most IIMs ask you to write an essay. And what is an essay? An essay is building an argument on an issue, right? Now, IIM Ahmedabad has something called AWT, which is an argument, analytical writing test, which asks you to analyze an argument. You are not supposed to write an argument. You are supposed to look at an argument and evaluate it. So it is something like a critical reasoning essay, if to put it really simply. All right. So if you are asked to write on an essay, the word limit is not given. Most IIMs tell you that, and non-IIMs too, most MBA institutes tell you the topic and tell you the time given. The time varies anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes. So depending on how much time is given, the length of your essay will obviously change. But more importantly, most institutes only give you, if it is a one-on-one face-to-face interview, they will give you only one sheet of paper. 2 sides of an A4 size paper. How much can you write? All right. Even if you wrote microscopic handwriting, I would advise you not to do that. You can't write more than 350, 500. 500 is a good number, but you really have to hurry and be very well planned to write 350. So reasonably, most students extend themselves to 300 to 350 words. You should not be sitting and counting your words, right? So you just have to write based on your planning, and make sure that the essay has a complete structure to it, and we'll be talking about that. All right. All right. What are the topics? Generally, they're current events and issues. All right. They ask you whether you agree or disagree with the statement. They ask you to offer a solution, not an solution. What happened to my English? They ask you to offer a solution or a suggestion to a problem, or discuss an issue. Now, if it's an IIM Ahmedabad argument, it will give you an argument. I'll give you the classic argument given by IIM Ahmedabad some time back, that the world should, I'm giving it in my own words obviously, that the world should respect Galileo and Newton, right? They should respect Galileo and Newton more than Michelangelo and Shakespeare, because Galileo and Newton made a difference to our way of life, had an impact on society today. What do you think? Okay, so somebody said that Galileo and Newton deserve more respect than Michelangelo and Shakespeare. Scientists, they deserve more respect than artists and authors and dramatists, because the scientists' contribution to the world has been much greater in terms of the impact, in terms of the advance in technology. So you have to evaluate this argument, give your points and answer. This is how an IIM Ahmedabad essay looks like. A general essay, on the other hand, would ask you the OTT regulation OTT regulations in India. सबसे current है, right? So they could just give you the topic OTT regulations in India, or they could say OTT regulations in India, a threat to your freedom of speech and expression, or is it the need of the hour? All right, what do you think it is? So in one, you have to agree or disagree with the statement, or take a stand, or you just have to discuss what is the OTT regulation thing, over the top video streaming, why has the issue become important, and you have to think such and such. Abhilasha, it depends on you entirely. So basically, remember, in an argument, are you talking of the argument as in the IIM Ahmedabad argument? No, they'll give you questions. Let's change this. Okay, let's first talk of general essays. All right, let's first talk of general WATs, which apply to all institutes, and then let's talk about AWT. All right, now in a general WAT, all right, Tushar, I'm answering your question, and I will answer your question also, Manoj. All right, let me talk. So first thing, an essay can be, if the question says, do you agree or disagree, give your views, then obviously you have to take a side. All right. On the other hand, if you want to talk, if they say just the issue OTT regulations in India, it's entirely up to you, Abhilasha, whether you decide to support it and say it's a good thing, oppose it and say it's not a good thing, or give the pros and cons and then finally give your viewpoint. Correct? Now, and this is my personal 2 cents for whatever it's worth, there's always clarity, more clarity in an essay when you when you support an issue or oppose it, because you tend to be clearer. Ye bhi sahi hai, wo bhi sahi hai. You know, it sounds very confusing. So because you have very little time, so you build an argument supporting or being against a topic, you can always give the other side. To me, that is what I advise most students, because in 15 minutes and 18 minutes, it's different to give too many viewpoints. All right, but yeah, you can do either, because it's an essay, it's not a debate, so you can give any viewpoint. All right, next, Manoj question. Okay, thank you, Manoj. Tushar says, in the Galileo Newton essay can be, of course you can use any scientist to support your argument. You understand? You can use any number of examples to support or oppose your viewpoint. Absolutely, you can do it. Understood? So depending on the kind of question asked in the exam, the structure of your essay can also change, right? But I always tell students, have a rough outline which you can use. It's a template that you can use for most essays, and this template thing works for AWT also, right? So whether it is WAT or AWT, what are they actually trying to see? In WAT, they are testing your ability to understand and address a topic logically and effectively. Excuse me. Address a topic logically means one point leading to the other, leading to the other. Effectively means you have lot of ideas in your head, but you can't put it on paper. What's the point? So can you write it in good, clear language, whatever? Can you articulate your thoughts, put it on paper effectively? That's what they are saying. In an AWT, they are seeing your ability to analyze an argument, analytical writing test, which is the essay that is asked in IIM Ahmedabad. It is similar to the GMAT essays. Only difference is IIM Ahmedabad makes life easier. GMAT just gives you the argument and asks you to discuss it. IIM Ahmedabad excuse me, asks you questions. Okay, what is the author's conclusion? What evidence is given by the author? All right, do you think the evidence is strong? What are your views finally? So it gives you the structure also, and you answer accordingly. GMAT on the other hand will only give you the argument and say evaluate this argument. Most IIMs though give you a topic. OTT regulation in India, farm laws in India, are they are they really pro farmer? Okay, or they could ask you about Biden's presidency, is it good for India? All right, any current affair. What are they testing is first what you need to think of. One, see, logically and effectively takes into it 4 parameters. Whatever you are writing should answer the question that is being asked. If he asks about are Indian villagers our strength or weakness, somebody wrote a lot of things about Indian villages are the heart of culture, they are the cultural capital of India, blah blah blah. Fine, fine. Are they contributing to India's development? Are they at this point a strong point or not? 2 pages of essay the student did not write. Villages are this, villages are that, Gandhiji said this, somebody else said this, but did not address the issue. What is the question asking? What are the pros and cons of a village in terms of its contribution to the nation and its development? Okay, so if there are negatives, the negatives are because the country has neglected the village. Then also at present the villages have, the potential hasn't really been tapped. We've neglected the villages. So at this point, at the state at which they are now, they look like more like a liability, but these liabilities are actually hidden assets which can become assets provided we do whatever. That at least is relevant to the topic. So key is, what is the question asked? My essay should address the topic. Second one is your language. Now they are not demanding you write like a poet like Shakespeare or Wordsworth. They just want clear sentences which express your views. You understand? Short simple sentences. We'll talk about language later. All right. And your knowledge of the subject. Threshold knowledge is enough, but there has to be a knowledge of the subject. And of course your coherence, your logic is tested in the way you present your points, one after the other. How to prepare for VAT? The best way, sir, is to read editorials. The more you read, the better it is. See, for example, the OTT, the moment the government declared OTT regulations, every newspaper editorial talked about it. And how beautifully the editor analyzed, look, this is what it is, this is why it became important, these are the pros and these are the cons to it, so what should be done? Or somebody else talks about the danger of a second pandemic in India, second wave of COVID in India, and again, what is, why, what, when, that's all. Read good writing and you'll automatically become good at essay writing. Understood? The next thing, if you like the session, do press a like, all right, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel. So let's look at the steps, and then we'll take 2 topics. We'll take a general topic for WAT, and we will also take an AWT topic, so that if you are ever asked argument evaluation, if you get a call to IMA, fantastic, of course, you can write well. All right. Step 1 is understand the topic, because remember, relevance is important. So if the topic says that, let me give you something little tricky, the world moves for, we, okay, we tend to follow our emotion more than our intellect in our way of life. Or not tend to, we follow our emotion more than our intellect in our way of life. इसका मतलब क्या है? First think. Say it 4, 5, 6 sessions, 6 times. Thank you, Tushar, you made my day. Say it 4, 5, 6 times. Emotions more than intellect, intellect more than emotion. Intellect, brain, emotion, heart. So what do you use more? Do you use your head or your heart more? Not you, the person. We, the people in general. So do you use your head or your heart? All right, this is what the topic is asking. Do you use your intelligence, or do you use intellect and intelligence, or mind or brain, or do you use your emotions and your instincts? All right, once you understood it, you simplified it in any which way you want. You can do it in your mother tongue also. All right, underline the keyword: emotion, intellect, way of life. These are the keywords. And your essay should have synonyms of those words to bring the heart essay forward. Now, at this point, don't start writing. You've understood the topic, ab likh lunga. No. First, quickly, mentally, brainstorm all the points connected with the topic, for and against. So you'll say, okay, in this for and against nahi hai, you talk about heart versus mind. Okay, all right. Some students say that in terms of in professional decisions we use our intellect, but in personal decisions we use our emotions. Somebody else says that I initially use my intellect, but after that when I take the final decision I use my emotions. So you see, you can think of different scenarios. Is it that we use different paths? If we use our head during professional work, but we use our heart during our personal decision, whom to marry, where to buy a house, go get a dog or a cat for a pet, do you use your heart? While कौन सा ऑफिस ज्वाइन करें, ग्रीन कार्ड ले, यूएस जाएं, नहीं जाएं, you follow your head. Do you do that? Now this topic was asked just the year after. This was a GD topic, and it was asked the year after Gladwell's book Blink. If you've read about Blink, please read the book. Not read about, read the book. He basically says that you take decisions like this. At the flick of a finger, you take a decision. Then he says you spend the rest of the time justifying your decision where you use your head. I'm not saying you follow the theory, but I'm saying, could it be true? He says the moment the interviewer sees you, he's already decided whether to take you or not. Okay, this was Gladwell or somebody else using this example, I don't remember. And after that, the interviewer asks you questions, and basically his entire attitude towards you during the interview is justifying his initial reaction of select or reject. This is one scenario. On the other hand, a lot of people say that we normally use a lot of intellect, pros and cons and pros and cons. But finally, when we take the decision, the last step, the litmus test, is using your gut feeling. You see all the pros and cons, but finally the road that you take is your gut feeling. So you have some perspectives, you have some for and against points, or you can use an idea fan, and then you decide, okay, how am I going to write my essay? Outline is like drawing a map, right? You quickly say, okay, My essay's main point should be at the end. I should say, no, we use our intellect mostly. We use our intellect in most cases in life. If that's what you want to say, have I answered the question in my essay? When I write the outline in my introduction, I'll say yes, in many cases we use head versus heart. But in, for example, in this we use our head. On the other hand, in these situations we use the heart. But when I really look at A and B, I think finally it is intellect which wins. And then you give, in all these, you give lots of examples. So you say, okay, in my conclusion, the question asked me, which do you use more? I have built the essay, and finally I'll conclude that we use intellect more. I have answered the question. Then you start asking, what are the examples I can give to push up my essay? I have one or two books that I have read, but can I really quote it? I don't know the stats. What will I do? Start talking about voter behavior. Start talking about your behavior as a consumer, and most importantly, start talking about the myth of the economic man, that we weigh our pros and cons. Then we won't be doing anything which is bad. So the people who argued about the myth of the economic man said that if that theory is true, that people weigh the cost benefit analysis for every decision, they are wrong. Then there would be, nobody would go to a casino. Why do you go to a casino? You know that the chances of you winning a lottery or winning in a gambling den is 1:1,000,000, but you keep hoping, what if I'm that one, right? So we don't take a lot of decisions actually which are intellectually good. So finally you decide, okay, I'm going to give these examples. Then decide what order should you use the points. Remember, all this happens in 2-3 minutes only. 3 minutes. After that, you start writing your essay according to your outline. Okay? And when you write the essay, remember, the introduction has to be very clear. Restate the topic in your own words. If you decide to take a stand, that stand has to be stated clearly at the beginning. If you want to take a middle path, you can do it at the beginning, you can do it at the end, but I would suggest do it at the beginning. All right. Okay, so Chetan, congratulations. We are going to talk at the end of the class for this. Hang on. All right. Your body will have 3 to 4 paragraphs depending on the time. All right. Then you give a good conclusion. All right. Get good conclusion as where you recap all the main points, and then quickly review your essay in a couple of, at least glance through it so that you don't make silly mistake. THERE, THEIR, LOSC, ऐसे कोई stupid sentences नहीं बनाए. Okay. Now this is for any essay. The topic, if the topic is on farm laws in India, are not pro-farmer or are pro-farmer. So the farmer protests are, it depends on what they say. They may say farm laws, okay, pros and cons, or challenges and opportunities, okay. This is one. So you read this and think, what do I know about it? An AWT topic would say Galileo and Newton should be respected more by society, more than Michelangelo and Shakespeare, because of their contribution to technology and the modern way of life. Okay. So you will restate your introduction for a normal essay would be that farm laws, the government passed this bill, farm laws, and the main, very briefly, do not use these big names for the 3 bills that were integrated into one. So basically said they passed laws which would eliminate the mandi system, the minimum support price. The logic that the government gave is that it is going to make the, it is going to open up the farmers, the markets for farmers, so that they become more competitive and it would benefit them in the long run. Got it? So your introduction is what are the farm laws and why is there a protest. So people who are supporting it say it's good for the farmers, but the biggest problem with people is this is what they think. On the other hand, if you are writing an argument evaluation, your introduction should be a restatement of the argument given, right? But like I said, in IIM Ahmedabad, they will ask you the first question: what is the main claim of the author? Which means what is the conclusion of the author? Then you would say the author feels, the claim or conclusion of the author is Galileo and Newton as scientists contributed more to the modern way of life. They had a greater impact on the modern way of life. Therefore, they deserve more respect. Okay, what evidence or what line of reasoning has the author used? Author says more impact, therefore more respect. That is the line of reasoning he has used. 3. Do you agree with the line of reasoning? This is where your views come into the picture, where you say that the impact on a society, there are different aspects. When you talk of impact of a man or a particular field on a society, we are talking of different aspects of a man's life. A man cannot live on bread alone. Same way, a man cannot, his life is not complete with just technology. Art and literature play a great part in a person's life, and therefore impact should not be just seen in terms of science and technological impact. Therefore, I find his line of reasoning very one-sided or very narrow. Okay, so what is your reasoning therefore for this argument? And you would say, I would disagree with it or agree, whichever way. But I would of course disagree with it, saying that art and literature make a man complete. It is the aesthetic sense of a human being. Right from the days of the caveman, you see drawings on the cave. The purpose was not just communication, right? There were other reasons besides. So you talk of the impact of art and culture, and you give your views on impact, on why music is important. Most scientists say they relax by listening to music. Most scientists are also artists. Galileo himself was an artist of sorts. So you talk about all of that. You understand? So the key here is AWT. If they just give you an essay, the introduction would be a restatement of the argument. Then you have to find out. So basically in an AWT, you identify the conclusion. This is number 1. Second, find out what is the reasoning and what are the flawed assumptions of the author, just like a critical reasoning paper. And then you try to, what extra evidence would strengthen the author's assumption. So you say, if people lived on technology alone or sort, if free time, most technical guys who are good at technology can also play a musical instrument, also seek leisure elsewhere. They spend their leisure time pursuing arts, pursuing painting, pursuing sport. Why? So you can talk of other areas, and therefore you say, therefore this reasoning is weak. Okay, what evidence can you give to further strengthen his argument? You have to give some other evidence to strengthen the argument. Understood? Suchetan, congratulations. I hope you are happy with your selection into SIBM. All right, we will talk. I want your feedback on what exactly did they ask you, so that I can talk to the students about topics next year for the symbiosis interview process, right? All right. So remember, in any essay, the key point in an essay is the introduction. Plane jab take off karta hai, when does it need maximum power? Why do they, switch off everything except the reading lights? Because the plane needs maximum power and thrust, right? At that time, you deserve the success. You worked very hard. I remember you attending a lot of my classes. Therefore, congratulations. Very happy to hear from you. All right. So in the introduction, you can give background information about the topic. You can start with a different kind of topic just to arouse interest in the reader's mind, or you can start directly. Most cases, under the stress of the exam, right, many of us don't know what to write. Kuch yaad hi nahi aayega. That time, start directly. Whatever the topic, I agree, I disagree, these are the farm laws, the reason why farm laws are important, you can start directly. Nothing wrong with it. All right. Same thing in the main part of the essay. You have to be sure in the outlining key, these are the 3 main points I have. I'm going to use these examples, because remember, if you're just giving a point without an example or data, it's just an opinion. So try to back up. I'm not saying every point you mention will have an example or a data. You may not be that lucky to get a topic on which you know everything, but try as far as possible to make that point as complete as possible by supporting it with an example and some statistics, a reason and an example, reason or an example. So a personal opinion followed by an expert opinion, examples, facts, statistics, reasons, everything will make that point better. All right. So that is the key to writing a good essay. The second main rule. So one important part of an essay is the introduction. The second important thing in any writing is always your paragraphs. What your standard 3 or 4 teacher told you when you first started writing, I don't know if they did it for you. I remember first in 4th and 5th grade, all we had to do was write paragraphs, only paragraph. My cat, my dog, whatever it is, but it was only a paragraph. The paragraphs got built, we put paragraphs together into compositions. So remember, the paragraphs are the building blocks of your essay. One paragraph should have one main point only. Suppose you are talking of what are the farm laws, एक paragraph. What is the government's view, or what are the good points or the positives of farm law would be your second paragraph. According to the farmers and people protesting, what are the negatives of the farm laws? What are the fears of the farmers about the farm laws? At the end of it, what do you suggest, or what have you read about experts suggesting should be done now that they've reached an impasse? They don't know. The farmers are saying this, the government is saying this, so what should be done now? There have been solutions, there have been offers of, there have been suggestions from experts as to what is to be done, what are the minimum changes that have to be done. It's going both ways. So what are the suggestions? And then finally align on what you think is the right way forward, right? So for example, there was once this GD topic which said dowry an evil or a necessary evil, right? This was the topic given. This was long back when there were a lot of dowry deaths. Dowry an evil or a necessary. I gave this because I found this example of the student. I found this point of the student very relevant. So you said there's no necessary part about dowry. It's out and evil. Why? Because it is one of the greatest social evils right now. Many young brides have lost their lives and dignity due to this social evil. Example, and you can come up with statistics. You read about dowry deaths, you read about harassment by in-laws. In this particular year, in this particular state, there were this many dowry deaths, there were that many dowry deaths. Hence, we already have an anti-dowry law, but the implementation hasn't been that effective, because finally it comes with a complaint from the bride or somebody on the side of the bride or something, and they make it look like an accident, and the police anyway are stretched so far. So you say that you should have even stronger laws and stronger implementations of the law against dowry. So that gives your view about dowry. Second point, you talk about why dowry is unnecessary, why dowry is immoral. illegal, unnecessary, and you give your own views on it, right? So your main body of the essay should be 3, maximum 4 points, but remember the paragraphs have to be clearly delineated. So let's say your introduction is paragraph 1, your body can be paragraph 2 and 3, and your conclusion can be paragraph 4. MBA.com Rigunk, MBA.com will have all the actually go to Mrigank, I'll send it to you if I can. Look at past IIM Ahmedabad. It's been started only for the last 3-4 years. Past IIMA AWT papers, last 2-3 years you will get about 6 or 8 topics, and there were a lot of very interesting ones. All right, and MBA.com will have all the essays, all the short arguments that are given for AWT in general. All right, so that you can find it there. Okay, I didn't know you would be joining, else I would have got an entire different topic again. So I'll try to send you the topics. All right, on our Telegram group. Join our Telegram group, Mrigank. I'll quickly tell you the topics. All right, and all right. So paragraphization, making proper paragraphs, 4 at least, would make your essay look nice. Okay. Now, generally the introduction and the conclusions are shorter than the body paragraphs. If they are the same size, it would be ideal, but can't be. So keep the introduction and the conclusion paragraphs of the same length, and keep the length of the introduction 3-4 lines. Length of the conclusion also should be 3-4 lines, which would basically be a restatement of the main point of your essay, or a summary of the main points of your essay, and you can conclude with a suggestion or a closing thought. Understood? So let's say the topic is merits and demerits of social media. Barkha, it is not compulsory, mandatory, nothing is compulsory. Okay. The good part about the Telegram group is, let's say you ask me a question, I know that there is a student seeking me out and asking me a question, right? That's why, nothing else. Okay. So for example, if there are enough people asking for an IIM Ahmedabad AWT session, we can immediately have an AWT session. My team is on the Telegram group. So the give and take, the exchange of question, answers and comments would be faster and more effective, if you ask me. That is the only reason. All right, I'm not gaining anything by doing it, but we have a Telegram group where what happens is, suppose a student says like, we want a session on this, can we have? And there are enough guys who say +1 +1 +1. Suddenly we say, okay, there are at least 10 guys who want this. So there's a link to it. If Shobhan is monitoring the class, I'll tell Shobhan to put it on immediately for you. All right, there's a link to the Telegram group, and I'm sure Shobhan will put it on in between the classes. I'll just quickly tell him to do that. All right, so let's say the topic is merits and demerits of the social media. The outline would look something like this, guys. Easy platform to connect, express views, spread information, education, entertainment, marketing platform for business. These are the key, right? If you're talking of social media, yes, it's a very good platform to connect. It's a platform to express views, spread information and awareness. Education, entertainment, it's a good marketing platform for businesses, right? What are the negatives? Let me just quickly put this, I'll ask Shobhan to put a Telegram link, huh? All right, this is spread propaganda. That is the demerit. So you will use, I'm not able to see a single comment of my YT students. Spread propaganda, fake news ho gaya na. Wahi, fake news, propaganda, absolutely. So you've listed your points. Once you've listed your points, you can quickly start saying, acha, ye point, I have got enough examples, so I will mention this first. On this point, I have fewer examples. So you can say, okay, let me do one thing in my introduction. I'll talk about social media in general. Second paragraph, I'll talk about merits. Third paragraph, I'll talk about demerits. Finally, in the conclusion, I'll say we can't do without social media, but to prevent these demerits from outnumbering the merits, we need to have strong regulations and whatever. Okay, then your essay is done. Instead of, otherwise social media is such a common topic that you people go all over the place, because there's so many points that you can write. When there are so many points that you can write, you end up saying in not being very coherent. That is the, okay, Shobhan has put up the link for Telegram. You can see it on the app. I am not able to see the chat on YouTube. I'm sorry, I don't know what has happened to my computer. I have to I can't see a single comment from my YouTube students. All right, so same way, write an essay on any one of these topics for practice. Okay guys, either OTT regulations in India, second is fake news, or role of women in India, or rebuilding India after COVID, and of course the ubiquitous farm laws. All right, so start writing. The best way to write a good essay for the exam is to practice. So at least write 4-5 essays before you go for your exam. Same way, Mrigank, before your IIM Ahmedabad interview, make sure you write at least 3-4 arguments, right? At least 3 or 4. Okay, send me the write the argument for the Michelangelo topic, Newton Michelangelo topic. All right, with the questions on it, and then the rest. All right, any questions? Any questions? No? Okay. Anyone? Any questions? All right. You get a small space only, Mrigank, so you have to be obviously very precise. Then you'll be given a question, and then you'd be given a short space, or you'd be given a piece of paper and the topic, and 4 questions would follow it, and you have to answer each question accordingly. For your WAT though, please write a free flowing essay. Do not enumerate your paragraphs, and you will get no bullet points. Please write a free flowing essay, no bullet points. But for AWT, they will ask you question 1, question 2, question 3, and then question 4, where you will be given more spaces. Give your reasons. That's where you can write a slightly longer paragraph, and you get hardly 15 to 18 minutes for the exercise. I think last year my students said they got 20 minutes, in which the first 2 minutes they were asked to just think about the topic, look at the paper, and then they were asked to write. So the question and answers all was on one side of the paper only. Okay, but in WAT it should be a free flowing essay. Absolutely a free flowing essay. No bullet points, no jotting down, no enumerating your essay. All right. Any other questions? All right. Tomorrow I will be live at the same time, 7 p.m. Apologies to the YouTube students. Tomorrow I will see that my YouTube chat is active. Something went wrong. Just when I logged in and said go live, the current went and I could not, I refreshed the page 2-3 times, but nothing happened. So tomorrow is a PI step session. Tomorrow, Mrigank and Manoj and all. It's tomorrow at 7 p.m. All right, so be there at 7 and we shall have a detailed discussion of how exactly to prepare for PI. All right, I will see you all there. And once again, my apologies to the YouTube students. I will make sure that tomorrow I answer all your questions, today's and tomorrow's also. All right, when you get somebody who's slightly technically, not slightly, huge way technically deficient, I tried to set it right. I didn't want the time to go, so I should have asked my technical person to look into it. Tomorrow I'll make sure they do it. All right. So I hope you heard the lecture and benefited from it nevertheless. All right. See you guys tomorrow. And you like the session, please press a like. All the YouTube students, you like the session, do share and subscribe to the channel. Share it with your friends. Join me tomorrow at the same time for your PI preparations. All right. Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.